And there's something that I think is so beautiful to teach that to your children. It's not a burden. It's not an obligation. It's not a pain in the neck. It doesn't put us out. It's priority.
Right.
Because we don't know how much more time we have with her.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Family Business with the Alessis, where family is everybody's business. Today you are listening to Steve Alessi and Mary Alessi. We're in the podcast booth and we're going to be talking about something very fun today, Mary, because it's a good season that we are in our life. But I just want to say congratulations to our Podience.
Yeah.
Because they are keeping us out there.
Yep.
They are driving us with great encouragement. And therefore,
great comments.
Their encouragement through their comments and their posts and their shares are really helping us stay motivated. I was hearing from Alan Paul that most podcasts don't even make it past 7 episodes.
Yeah.
And here we are on season number 6.
Right.
Of our podcast. That's 120 plus episodes that we have recorded. We are well over the top 2%. I mean, about 2% of podcasts make it this far. So,
and don't you feel like we're just getting good at it? Like we have more to say than we ever did?
I think
I was concerned in the beginning.
Really?
Like, are we going to have enough to talk about?
Well, it started, the whole reason we did this because we get together and talk about things on our porch at home or in the car, and we have some of our greatest conversations, you and I, about trying to figure things out when we're alone. So we thought, you know what? Let's take this beyond what we do on a Sunday, because our family business is ministry. We do church. But on Sunday, we get up, we give about a 30, 40-minute speech, as many of them refer to it as.
Talk.
But then, there's other things we'd like to be able to say. So we're doing it here in the podcast booth.
Right.
So I want to thank our listeners for your comments and your encouragement. I mean, Ozzy and Anna Maria
are always faithful listeners. Comments every week. They listen and binge watch, and it means so much to us when we get that feedback. And we get a lot of feedback, but thanks to them specifically, they are a big part of the Podience.
Yeah, and please let us know if this is encouraging you and helping you, then let us know. We love hearing from you, and you can do that by just sending us messages, and we'll put that in the information, the notes there to this particular podcast.
Yeah.
But today I want to talk about the season of life that we are in. And I think seasons are important for us to recognize that seasons are a part of life.
They are.
Now, I only know seasons because of sports.
Right.
So I know there's football season and there's a start for that season. Then there is an end to that season. There's a start to hunting season, which right now you're going to get all the advertisement on TV from Bass Pro Shops about hunting.
Sure.
And then that's going to take us into January. And then after that, I like it. I can always see on Bass Pro Shops advertisement what the next season is, because as soon as January is over, it's about fishing. So they start advertising all of that. But you would know seasons because of what? What do you look at in forms of seasons? Come on, you're decorating right now.
Oh, the holidays.
The holiday season.
Oh, you threw me out there. Definitely the fall leaves and fall candles, which, by the way, I should have remembered that because I ordered some really pretty candles. They're coming to the house today. But honestly, that's probably one of the most exciting things for me when it starts to end September and fall's coming and we know we're going into Christmas, all because of decorating. I love to decorate. And our Christmas store at the church that we've had, I think this is our 3rd or 4th year of having a store, and it's just so fun.
Yeah. So just like there are seasons in the natural like that, of course, winter, spring, summer and fall, there's seasons.
Right.
There's also seasons to our lives. And it's important that we recognize seasons. Right. I think it helps, at least from my perspective, the reason I think I'm able to handle some of the things that I'm called to handle is because I see it in terms of seasons.
Yeah.
Even with the building of our organization. I know that a building season is January, February, March, and April.
Sure.
That's trying to put numbers out there, focusing on the outreach, the numbers. But then in May, June, July, and August, it's a different kind of season for us. It's more internal growth. We're still growing, but now it's going back and remanaging some of the things that we started. And then we hit another growth period from September, October, and November.
Right.
So then I, of course, know when it comes to December holidays, don't even think about building.
Right.
Just enjoy, build relationships with your people.
Right. Help me build a Christmas tree.
I'll help you build a Christmas tree, but also help me focus on building the people that have been a real blessing to us all year long. So those are the holidays. We give them time off and spend time together with them if we can. So I can navigate and juggle some of the seasons of my work by recognizing, or at least dealing with the stress from my work, by recognizing it's only a season.
Yeah.
And it's important to see there are seasons of our lives as well. So there's a single season, there's a married season, there's a kid season. You got kids, right? That's a long season because that season of raising kids, you got them for like 18 years.
And then it's over, but But
we've entered into a new season over the last few years. And it has been just as rewarding for us as every other season.
Right.
And that is, we are in a season of now taking care of our parents.
Right. Yeah. It's a sweet season.
It's a sweet season.
It's a bittersweet season.
Yeah.
It's kind of came on us so quickly when your father passed 3 years ago yesterday. And I know that is a difficult day. At the same time, it's a sweet day because he's not suffering anymore.
No.
And we get real quality time with your mom, who's one of the most precious people God ever made. And she's doing so good. And to be able to spend that time with her and reminisce and laugh about your dad and just be with her has been really, really special. But having to embrace that this season is upon us, you don't have any choice. You have to go through it. You don't get to opt out of this season. So we're blessed because both of our moms are doing well, physically, emotionally. They're very healthy. They're doing well financially. They're taken care of. But they like to have their kids around.
Yeah.
They like having both of us around, and they're good friends. So that's a blessing. But it's an unusual thing. I don't know about you, but nothing prepares you for it.
No.
It's like from one day to the next, you're in it, and then you go, why didn't I process this years ago that this would come? Because you can't until you get there. And you know you're in the season from really one day to the next where you are not just the son or the daughter that can come visit and your mom still heats up your food for you. You're at a season where you're heating up her food.
Right.
And you're making sure she's okay every night.
And they love that.
Ooh. But they need us to do it.
Yeah.
And it does shift from they like us to do it, and it annoys us because we're fixing everybody's TVs and taking out everybody's garbage cans.
Right.
To no, this is our reasonable service. Now we need to do it for them. And it's bittersweet, but the Lord does prepare you for it because even now we're at a season that it's our joy to do that for our mothers.
Right.
Because we value them so much. And we know that time is short at this point.
Right. Well, you said a lot there that we'd like to unpack because I'm not sure a lot of people even think about it. We're so used to parents taking care of us.
Right.
That we don't always make the shift. Now it's our turn to take care of them.
Right.
And we caused our parents, some young men listening to this podcast, can go back to the days that you caused your parents some real headaches. And now you're at a place where you're looking at them and thinking, you know what? They paid a lot for me. They sacrificed a lot over the years for me. They went through a lot, even because of me. Now it's a clean slate because now they're needing me to be there to now take care of them.
Right.
And they're not a burden, I would say. Our aging parents are not a burden.
No.
But in the long run, if we can look at this right and just be aware that, okay, this is on me now, they really can be the blessing.
Right.
Because for your family, we've read statistics. First, some statistics about all of this. It's becoming more and more common.
Yes.
for people in their 50s and 60s to have to take care of their parents that are in their 70s and their 80s.
Yeah.
Because our older generation are living longer.
That's right.
And that's a blessing.
It's awesome.
That's a good thing. My grandparents all passed between 50 and 60 years.
Yeah.
My dad passed 84. Mom's just turned 85 this year. So she and my dad pretty much outlived their parents.
Right.
20 plus years.
Right.
So our parents are living older. As they live older, that it's proven the strain on our healthcare system, because now of the medical issues that are being dealt with an older generation.
Right.
And so that's putting certain pressures there on the healthcare system in our country.
That's true.
Some think the answer is let's put them in a elderly care facility or a senior living facility. And for some, that may be an option.
To.
They have to. Maybe they're not around and so forth. Right. And then again, some can't be put into a facility like that because they're of the financial resources that they do not have.
Yeah,
and true. Our South Florida community is the Latin culture down here. The Cuban culture does not put your kids or your parents in any kind of home. You're keeping them home with you.
Right.
So we see more and more of people that are our age group, babe. I'm in my 60s, you're in your 50s, that are at that same season with us.
That's right.
That are now caring for their parents. So you mentioned my dad passed away 3 years ago yesterday. It was October the 4th, 2020, during COVID. And so this week we needed to be with my mom.
Right.
To be up there. And it wasn't a cry fest. It was nothing like that at all. No. It was beautiful.
It was super sweet.
But we had to intentionalize being there.
Sure.
And it wasn't convenient.
No.
Because we had just finished about 3 or 4 weeks of crazy work that kind of kept us a bit distracted from our 9 to 5, the regular job that we're supposed to do.
Yeah, we haven't stopped.
But we had to pull back a little bit, work from afar, and try to stay in the loop because mom needed us. Right. I needed to be there with her. And you were gracious enough, wanting to be able to come up and be a part of all of those 3 days, 4 days that we were all together. But I had to do it.
Well, so, it's slightly selfish. It's slightly selfish on my part because, and I say that tongue in cheek, the truth is our kids are watching us model how you take care of your parents the godly way and how you honor them. And I think that just becomes the expectation and the norm.
That's a great point. Why don't you hammer down on that right there?
Well, our parents, we've been very blessed to have godly parents that raised us up to serve the Lord. And one way that we honor them is by caring for them in every season that is godly.
Right.
When we understood the season to separate and to leave the home and cleave to one another. And our parents were both very good about that. And then we've never had between your mom, my mom, and your dad, a manipulating, meddling parent. Only my father, but he's in heaven today. I hope he is. But we have such godly examples, and that can't stop with us. We have to make sure that our kids understand the blessing that it is to be able to say, my life will always be there. The busyness, the roller coaster, the job, our bed that we love being in because our backs hurt from moving around so much, all the traveling we've done. And it would have been easier and more understandable for us to have just stayed home and said, she'll be fine. We'll see her later. Mm-hmm. But to make that additional sacrifice to say, it isn't a sacrifice, it's our reasonable service.
Right.
Because she's nobody else's mom but ours.
Right.
She is ours.
Right.
We're not leaving her up to be cared for by anyone else but family members. Mm-hmm. And there's something that I think is so beautiful to teach that to your children. It's not a burden. It's not an obligation. It's not a pain in the neck. It doesn't put us out. It's priority.
Right.
Because we don't know how much more time we have with her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even to eliminate regret. It eliminates regret. Mm-hmm. But we don't do that so we can say, well, we were there. Thank God. I don't want to have any regrets. That's not what motivates us. It's the right thing and the honorable thing to be there for the woman that we're here because of her.
Right. So the point that I was really wanting you to hammer down on is how this is setting an example for your kids.
Yes, it is. Because they learn it's natural for them. It's what mom and dad did. This is what we do. We vacation twice a year. It's what we do. We have a house in Georgia. We go away for the Thanksgiving holidays. That is what we do. We have our family traditions, the things that are sacred. This is what our family does. It's a no-brainer. And it's not just taught through talking. They are seeing us model it. They're watching us put our mothers first.
Yeah.
And our schedule second because they matter.
Right.
And they're experiencing that, and it will be a natural expectation for them.
Yeah. Here's a challenge that comes with taking care of older parents is seeing your moms or your dads not like they once were in your eyes.
Oh, yeah.
That's a tough thing.
It's very hard.
Because here you think of them in their years where you were forming your opinions about life, and they said so much or they did so much that you looked at and you like held them in high esteem and high regard for, wow, that's a certain standard that you have, you know. But then as you get older and you start seeing that they can't remember things or they say things over and over and over again, they repeat things, or they just don't feel like they have the energy to want to get up and go anymore. You know, that's a challenge for an adult that is trying to care for their aging adults, because you can't handle seeing your parents anything less than just on the go and strong.
The only way you've ever known them is to be so full of life and strong, and that parent, that's the one that is frozen in your mind, not this one.
I'm reminded of a couple of trips ago that we took to Israel, and your mother, who loves to travel, okay? Your mom is 81, I believe, and she
82.
loves to travel, especially cruise. And she took us on a cruise one summer, and we're like, we're done with this cruise, no more. It was not our.
It was too hot.
Well, it was a river cruise, and we were like the children compared to all the older cruisers on the ship. But I remember her she was supposed to meet us in New York at the airport.
Oh my goodness.
And she got up, and what did she do?
She had vitamins in one pocket.
Yeah.
And she had Xanax in the next pocket. And they were old because she'd had them like for 2 years. And so she thought they might be expired, and she wasn't thinking. And as she gets in the car, and thank God someone was driving her. She wasn't driving herself. When she gets in the car, she reached in to pop the vitamins, and she was going to take the Xanax on the plane once she got on the plane, and she just accidentally popped the 2 Xanax and did not realize she did it, and then goes to get out of the car and can't even walk into the airport because they weren't expired. And so we get the phone call, I put her on the plane, and we were so afraid when we got to New York that she would be so asleep, they wouldn't be able to get her off the plane. My sisters were freaking out. We were freaking out. And of course, we teased her royally, but that was several years ago. Today, we wouldn't tease her over anything like that. But back then, I'll never forget, they wheeled her around the corner, and there she was. She looked like a zombie.
Head bouncing around in that wheelchair.
Then she got on the flight to Israel and could not go to sleep.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
But when we see our parents get older and they do things like that, you realize, okay, now tables have really turned.
Yeah. They're your kids almost.
Yes. Yeah. I'm the parent here, and they're not.
Mom, what are you taking?
What are you taking?
What is that, Mom? Let me see that. Don't put that in your mouth.
and your mom, you have to definitely keep some chains on. I mean,
she's wild.
We ended up her having some physical issue.
Yeah.
That hit her body a couple of years ago, and it really came down to this: that she's watching TV, saw this advertisement for a certain kind of vitamin that she wanted.
Yeah.
She buys that vitamin, but it had a bad effect on another medication she was taking, and it put her in the hospital. Yeah. It was crazy.
Oh, it was life and death.
It was not good at all.
It almost took her life. It was terrible.
So some of these things, it's hard for, us and our generation to realize, wait, they're really not the parent anymore.
No.
And
And in
we
today's
got to be
society,
careful. We
you
got
know,
to take care of them.
you bring up a good point too. In today's society, we have to be careful what we watch and what we buy into and what we click on and what we order through the mail because there's so much fraud. How much more do our parents
Oh,
have
man.
to?
Even
Your
that.
dad, he was like always buying Retin-A and he just had big old things of Retin-A. And that was, thank God, safe. But to do that and not make your parents feel useless, foolish, stupid,
Yeah.
and just talking to them respectfully, Mom, listen, don't buy that. All of us, we've all fallen prey to those clickbait things, and because with my mom, it's like if you fought her over it, the more she had to prove she wasn't
Yeah.
being conned. We're like, Mom, we're all being conned. All of us. It's not just age. Don't click on that stuff, But I think that happens in every family. We've all got a story of, didn't we get to the farmhouse one time? What was it your dad ordered? And he ordered so many of them and we couldn't return them. It was something really big.
Dad always was a sucker for things like, this was an insect repellent
Yes.
that you plug into the wall.
Yeah.
And he ended up with like 30 of them because he.
That's what it was.
That was one. No, that was just one of them. I know you're thinking about another one. It'll come to
Something
me
bigger.
in just a minute.
Batteries.
But
No.
he got that, and he ends up bringing them all to the house and giving them to me, and I'm supposed to plug them in to all the outlets, and now I can't use the outlets because they're filled with bugs repellents, and they never did work.
And clocks.
He
everywhere.
did that with a pump.
A pump.
One of those red pumps that we were going to put outside.
Yes.
And he ended up with like 4 of them because he
yeah.
placed an order and then he clicked again and so on. And these were these big heavy metal things. He was prone to do that quite a bit. And then you talk about all the lotions. Oh, man. He bought into, if it's going to take away wrinkles. My dad was vain. He loved looking at himself in the mirror. And he'd get all those creams on, and then he'd come to the house. Hey, I got extra. Dad always.
He'd force his junk on us.
He did. He would buy a couple of things for himself and decide that I'm gonna get one for my son Steve too.
Or no, Steve will take this.
Steve will take it.
But you did something about a year before he passed. You didn't. You had no idea that he was going to pass. We didn't. We didn't know when his last day would be. But I remember you saying, "I am not going to talk down to my dad anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give him a hard time. I'm just going to let dad be. And if he orders junk, I'm not going to get on him for it and make him feel stupid. I'm just going to let it be and not say anything." And I think about that a lot because it can be very hard for us when we do become the caretakers of our parents to be worse to them than they ever were to us. Because we start talking to them in a way like, "Mom, don't do that. What are you doing? What are you, crazy? You can't have that." And we shame them.
Yeah.
And make them really feel bad.
Yeah.
Instead of just honoring and loving. And sometimes they will have young friends or people that do things for them that they like.
Right.
Because those people don't talk to them the way we talk to them.
Yeah. Hell, my dad and everybody listening to this, if they knew him, they know exactly that they were a part of this program of his or his mindset. He would send everybody these weird texts and these Facebook messages.
Yeah.
And he was just on that all the time. And I had to finally get to a place where at first I'd keep telling him, "Dad, don't send that. Don't send that." And then finally I said, I'm not going to tell my dad not to send it because he doesn't listen to me anyway. But
and he never comprehended Facebook anyway.
When people would say something to me, I'd just end up saying, "Well, that's my dad. That's my dad." And it's funny. I wish I can get a message.
An inappropriate one. You'll take whatever you could get.
That would be,
Yep.
And
I know.
That's crazy. Here's the point. True. We don't realize the precious season of life that we have with our grandparents.
That's right.
Or our parents. Because when they're gone, they're gone. When it's over, it's over.
And it's a lot more daunting than you ever think it will be.
And you know it. You know this is a part of life.
Right.
But when it happens, it's just sad.
It's horrible.
And you have to try to figure out, okay, hey, I live now without my dad. I live without his voice. I live without, hey, I don't have a sounding board anymore about physical ailments. Dad, did you have this pain? Did you have that happen? What was your skin doing at this age of life, man? You lose that frame of reference, which is why we should be prepared, every one of us. If we've got aging parents, we step in.
Yeah.
We have to stay engaged.
Right.
If you have an issue with your parent, of something that happened in the past, man, you're the adult now. Let that go. Spend the time with them. You don't want to live with regrets. You're gonna miss them as it is, but you don't want to miss them anymore because you weren't spending the time or the energy to be able to go over there and sit down with them and talk to them. And here's something, some don't realize. We intentionalize our kids, my mom's grandkids. We intentionalize them spending time with grandmommy.
Oh, sure.
And with grandma.
That's right.
Our two girls are going on a Greece trip.
That's right.
With your mom.
Yep.
She wants to travel, so she's got to cruise, and she didn't want to cruise alone.
We ask her not to go alone anymore.
She won't cruise alone, so she's invited the girls.
That's right.
Now, the girls could say, nah, to go on a trip like that.
Because it's another river cruise. It's old people.
Don't tell them that.
Well, they kind of know.
They know already. But you know what? There's a lot of grandkids that wouldn't go with the grandparents.
Oh, absolutely.
But we intentionalize,
That's
we
right.
encourage, we almost force.
Yeah.
No, you need to. Lauren right now is up there with my mom because I had to get back in the office today, take care of some things. So Lauren stepped in to cover for us so that grandmommy's not alone this week while she's going through the loss of dad on this anniversary and so forth. We intentionalize it.
That's right.
And thankfully, Mary, because of that, we've got people around us here at our church and in our family friendship circle, whenever they see our moms, because they see the way we honor them, they just shower them.
That's right.
With honor.
Yes.
And the funny thing was, we asked my mom the other day, now that she's no longer living in Miami, but living up in Stewart, what do you miss the most? Big tears in her eyes. She said she misses her church.
She misses us and her church. That's right.
That's
Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
She misses all the people that love her so much. Shower her with love and respect and make her feel young again and valued again. It's important.
It is. And they treat your mom the same way.
Yes, they do.
They'll always have a place of honor in this church and always have a place of honor in the lives. Quite frankly, if it wasn't, first off, if it wasn't for our two mothers, you and I would have never met each other.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Because they were friends before you and I met.
That's right.
My mom more or less prayed you in to my life.
Yeah.
And your mom went home and told you what a great guy I was because I knew how to wash my own clothes.
Yeah. She was so impressed.
Oh, my goodness. Your dad, he didn't set the bar too high, did he?
Hey, I didn't realize how much I would fall in love with you while I watched you do laundry. Head over heels.
Oh, man. But that's a good season. Yeah. We should embrace it. You got to intentionalize it. You really do. And when you're there, you got to have a ton of patience. Just don't expect things. Yeah. My sister comes into town to spend time with my mom. And she still has to work. And Debbie's on California time. So a lot of her time happens. Her office time starts about 10 a.m. rather than 8 or 9 on this coast. But she's got to get going because of the time change. And my mom picks up on that.
Right.
She doesn't complain. She's just aware of it. That Debbie can't have breakfast with her and coffee late in the morning because Debbie's got to get to work right away. Point there is when you're with your parents, be 100% there. Yeah. Because they pick up on the fact that you're not. And if you're on your phone, you're having to do business, you're taking care of things that you still need to take care of, they're watching. They may never say anything.
Right.
But they're watching. And what they then start to feel is that they're a burden.
Yeah.
And you never want.
And that's hard. That's hard anyway.
To feel like they're a burden.
When we're still working and we still have responsibilities and expectations. It's a tough season. There's no doubt about it. It's beautiful, but it's not without its challenges.
There's 100 other places I'd rather be in those moments.
I know.
There's people I'd rather be with in those moments.
Or things we need to get done.
Yeah.
That we legitimately need. But those things will always be there.
And they're thinking pretty much something similar. Yeah. They're saying, I'm glad my kid's here. I sure hope they don't want to have to be here.
They don't want you to feel forced or obligated.
They want us to feel present.
Oh, just like I am seeing that with my own adult children.
Ooh.
You know, you don't want to feel like they're obligated to be with you. You want them to want to be with you. Mm-hmm. And you know, we're in that season with grandkids that you see how smart God was and is. Let them have children, and then the need that their parents have to see their own kids will be an easy bridge because go take the grandkids over to see grandparents. And it's just a beautiful plan, you know? But I think at the heart of it is God's design for us to honor our mother and father. It is his plan that we have to honor them so that our days will be long in the earth.
And let me say something before we close out here today. I want to thank you because you really do love my mom. It's precious.
I do.
If I had to do that all by myself, it would be a real challenge for me. She even tells me, "Oh, I'm glad you're here, Steve, but I like it when Mary comes because you're the talker.
Yeah,
you carry on the conversation, and that makes the atmosphere fun." And I say that to say, if there's couples listening to us, just because it's his mom, don't make it just up to him to go spend time with her.
right.
If it's her parents,
Yes.
don't just send her on a trip to go spend time with her parents.
That's right.
Be there together,
Right.
because the parents will appreciate it, the older parents will appreciate it, but your spouse will appreciate it
100%.
for that moral support, that just help that's needed in those environments. So don't just send the other spouse off to go take time with their aging parent. Go
Right.
with them.
Yeah, that's good.
For better, for worse, you know.
Yeah.
You're in this thing together to help.
Yeah.
But it is a precious season. It's on us. We'll miss them when they're gone. So while they're here, don't miss opportunities to still be with them. Put it on your calendar. Make sure those calls are being made, those texts. Spend
Birthdays,
time with
yes.
them. All of those are special events for our aging parents because we don't want to leave it up to a system.
No.
That's not even biblical.
No.
That's on us to take care of the people that took care of us for so very long.
Amen.
Anything you want to say before we're done?
No, I think that's beautiful.
Perfect.
It's a beautiful season.
All righty. Thanks again for joining us on this episode of The Family Business with the Alessis as we talked about taking care of our aging parent. Great season of life. Don't miss it.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and click on the notifications bell so you can be notified for all of our future videos. And if you love today's topic, we have plenty more. And you can click on this link right here to watch all of our videos so you can learn why family is everybody's business.